We felt a little bit alone. Media lie, politicians lie. We are looking for answers.
Thousands of men and some women from all over Europe have travelled to join the so-called Islamic State. About 850 have left from the UK and something like 400 have come back. But what makes them leave in the first place? I went to Dresden in Germany to meet one young man who went to live in the caliphate but decided that life there wasn't for him.
We are searching for the purpose of life. My friend came to me and he said, yeah, I've read the Islam and I think it's the truth. So I came to the point that Islam is the way of life.
And it all happened in quite a quick period.
It was in 2 to 3 months, I think.
So yes. You went from someone who hadn't really thought about Islam,
yeah, he was,
to being someone who believed in it deeply and started to have very clear ideas about the world and about what was wrong with it. Yes. Just in 2 or 3 months. That's very quick.
Yes, of course, of course.
So at this time, the so-called caliph had made an announcement to get Muslims to go over to the Islamic State. Is that what made you want to go?
It was that there's, of course, a caliphate, an Islamic caliphate, where you can live as a Muslim. But I think the main fact was that there's war and that someone have to help the families who don't have houses, no food. And that was my main fact.
I think a lot of people watching this will look at you and think, how could you look at IS and think that that was a good place to go?
Yeah, I thought, of course, it's a group who spent terror in Syria, of course. But IS is also a state, an Islamic state, and so
Well, it depends if you believe their propaganda, doesn't it? Because surely their actions then negate their claim that they are a true Islamic state. I mean, at the time that you went, already a certain number of Western journalists and aid workers had been beheaded, publicly beheaded. We saw the videos.
Of
people
course.
like James Foley, and then the Yazidis who were infamously raped and taken as slaves. All these things had been well publicized. So, for you to still believe that this was a truly Islamic place, I think a lot of people might find that, regardless of your own beliefs in Islam, would find that quite difficult to believe.
It was of course difficulty because it's a Islamic state who do very dangerous things, who kill people, and this is of course not Islam.
I mean, you could also live in Germany and be a good Muslim and do these things.
Yeah, of course.
Aid worker in any country in the world and be a good Muslim.
But my opinion were in this time I want to practicing Islam on the highest level, and if you're here in Germany, there's a girls running with free body outside, and if you see this as a Muslim, it's not good. So I want to live in a country where the Islamic rules are the highest, and so the caliphate, it's the only caliphate in the world, and so I want to join this.
At the time that you went, a lot of Muslim scholars from around the world, people who have been reading the Quran and studying the Quran a lot longer than you had, were saying, don't go, these are not real Muslims. Did you listen? Did you hear that advice?
Yeah, I heard.
And what did you make of it at the time?
I thought I'm on the right way. My opinion, join there and only live in this Islamic state and not make this brutal things.
Was that naive?
Yes, of course.
Samuel war immer ein Samuel was always a calm boy. He played a lot, had friends he hung out with as he got older. He was a happy little boy. We have 4 children. We raised them all within the Christian faith. Samuel was confirmed, and after that he started searching, what is the right thing for me? He was always looking for the meaning of life. And there's plenty about that to be found on the internet. We never realized and never thought he would go to Syria.
So they ask three questions. If you want to go with a bomb,
Suicide vest.
yes, of course. Or you are a fighter on the front line, or a normal fighter. Yeah, and so you
There
have
were
to.
the 3 options: normal fighter, frontline fighter, suicide bomber.
Yes, yes.
There was no option for humanitarian worker, was there? And why did you think that fighting was wrong?
I think killing people for Islam or for any religion is wrong, of course.
But Max very definitely wanted to fight.
Yeah, they want to fight.
So he's looking for death.
Yes, of course.
And
That was clear.
Were you looking for death?
No, of course not.
Because I think he took you to a gun range. You went shooting together in Germany before you left.
Yes, it was shooting.
So, did you practice shooting before you went to Syria?
One time, yes, of course.
I think people might find it strange that you went to practice shooting before you went to be a humanitarian worker.
Yeah, maybe.
What would you say to them?
I think if you go in a place of war, you have to know how to use a weapon, I think.
Self-defense.
So, yes.
Did you see or hear any of the bombardments, the airstrikes?
I was making my night prayer, and yeah, then seconds later the bomb were behind the school came on the ground, and yeah, this was very crazy, of course.
What were you doing on a daily basis?
Yeah, on a daily basis, we making food together. We try to learn Arabic. We're making some groups of Arabic lessons.
You were bored?
Yeah, I was bored.
So when did you start to think that you wanted to leave?
I knew they wanna have me for a fight, and then I decided for me to leave IS.
Day and night we prayed that the bombs would not hit him. We tried everything to get in contact with him. We were constantly at the computer, writing emails to him. We asked friends to contact him. Our goal was to get him back home.
Dear Sammy, please come back. Take this pain and heartbreak away from your parents. Most of all, take this burden off yourself so your little sister can know laughter again. I beg you with all my heart. Believe me, dear Sammy, war cannot be a way to tackle injustice.
Reading these emails, it was, there came more feelings up, and the childhood came back, and all these feelings come to me. And there I realized that I need my family, and the friends need me, and the family need me. I was in a little courtroom. It was a prison, of course.
So did you think you would die at that point?
Yeah, of course. I thought about this.
Someone watching, again, might find this story quite amazing to believe, mostly because you're a white European convert to Islam. Yeah. This was at a time inside the so-called Islamic State, where they were using videos to try to recruit other people from Europe, other people from Western countries. You would have been very, very important to IS because you're blonde, you're blue-eyed. This is the image they want to show the world. The idea that you could just travel freely anywhere you wanted and go and get your phone, and I think it's difficult for people to believe that.
Yeah, but it was not a problem to give us our phones. I don't know. I go inside the bus stop, and there my father is sitting with my brother, and yeah, it was really nice, of course.
How did you feel?
Like newborn.
Es gibt in der Bibel eine Geschichte.
There is a story in the Bible, the story of the prodigal son. It's about a father who gave his son his inheritance. The son went into the world and squandered the inheritance, and then came home in the hope that his father would let him back in and would not be angry. The father stood, knowing fully that the son would come home. He stood waiting for him the whole time. When the son came home, the two hugged, and it was exactly like that in Turkey when he came towards me. We hugged for a very long time. It was just like that in the story. Both of us cried, and we held each other tight.
Liefen sie beide aufeinander zu und haben sich umarmt und
So what's your feeling towards the so-called Islamic State now? Would you say they are terrorists?
Yes, I think they are a group of terrorists who do brutal things, and this is okay, of course. But I think that the Islamic State, only the state is who try to live on the Islamic way.
Even if the Islamic State was started by terrorists, you still think that the concept is okay?
I think the concept is okay, but what they do is not okay.
You obviously love your son very much. That's clear. Do you worry maybe that your love for him maybe blinds you to maybe the reality of what he was thinking before he went to Syria, and maybe still blinds you now?
Natürlich kann sowas möglich sein.
Of course, something like that is possible. Love blinds, we know that. Not only in the case of children, but as a parent, you have a feeling for whether your child is telling the truth or not. And you feel in your heart, is he being honest? Is his motive for coming home honest? Or did something happen in Syria? We are completely convinced that things are exactly as he explained them to us. All I can say is that we feel it as parents.
So if you still have many of the opinions that you had before you went to Syria, why are you not a danger now you're back in Germany?
I think I was in danger if I was also here in Germany. So I don't say that I will kill some people. So I think there is no... of course, they have to check me what I've done in Syria. Of course, it's the right way.
But it's impossible for them to know, isn't it? It's very difficult for them to prove anything.
It's of course difficult. But they have to wait of other people who came back from IS to Germany. That's the only way, I think.
Finding proof that a crime has been committed is the major test every government faces when dealing with people returning from IS. How can the German authorities be sure that Samuel is telling the truth? And more importantly, how can anyone know that the people coming back have completely abandoned the worldviews that drove them there in the first place.